let's get this mock draft rolling. All right. So, we're on FanSpeak on the clock, mock draft simulator. We're about to do this right now. Let me just get everything in order first. All right. So, we are going to do this, of course, with the New England Patriots. We are going to do 7 rounds. No cutting corners here. Hey everyone, hey Johnny, hey EDYT, hey A-Dog, Hudson, Josh, Carson, all you guys. All right, now the one that I usually do, it's a little bit outdated at this point, but CBS Sports Composite. And next. This time we're going to do a random big board that the computer should use. This switches things up a little bit. Doesn't make it quite as predictable. So let's hit next. Difficult. And we will do user voted team needs. All right, let's get going. Let's draft. Obviously, if you guys have any questions for me while we're doing this, you can send them along. I don't have quite as much of a lag this time as I did the last time. So, no trades off the top here. Let's start the round, see if we have any trade offers once our actual pick comes up. We're doing this on the premium FanSpeak rather than just the normal one, so there are trades on this mock draft simulator. All right, who's going to be there? Zach Bond is gone. All right, so top pick here that's available is AJ Epinesa out of Iowa. So I've been doing pretty much every year I look at who the best draft fits for in the draft for the Patriots based on measurables. And this year, AJ Epinesa has been a popular pick for the Patriots, but just looking at his athletic profile doesn't actually fit that well as far as his measurables go. He's 6'5", great height, 275, that fits, but the 40 time 504, not great, doesn't hit their average on 3-cone or short shuttle, vertical, broad jump, even the bench. He's got the right size, but he doesn't really have much else there that the Patriots usually look for in a defensive end. Maybe they'll go off the board and take AJ Epinesa even though he doesn't fit those things, but I'm not quite sure. So Xavier McKinney and Grant Delpit, I don't think either one of those guys is the perfect fit for the Patriots. I don't think that safety is their biggest need in this draft. Jordan Love, I don't love, no pun intended, taking a quarterback here. Certainly don't want to take a running back. Kenneth Murray, I do think is interesting. We can go to my linebackers measurables here real quick. And where's my guy? Kenneth Murray is basically the 8th best fit as far as linebackers go in the draft. He's got the right size, 6'2.5", 241 pounds. Doesn't quite hit that size standard, but I like a linebacker who's over 240 pounds for the Patriots. He's got the 40 time, 20-yard dash, 10-yard split, 38-inch vertical, 10-foot 9-inch broad jump. Great athlete. Not really the run stuffer that you would expect the Patriots to take. He's more of a sideline to sideline type guy, but they were willing to take a guy like Jamie Collins in the past, who also wasn't that that run stuffing type option. So we are going to go with Kenneth Murray here. Last time we traded down into the second round to try to basically force ourselves to take a tight end. Here, if the Patriots don't have the option to trade, we're going to take Kenneth Murray. He's our guy right here. So that's number 1 on our list. Get through the rest of the first round. We don't have a second round pick right now, so we're also not going to trade up into the second round. I like having those 3 third round picks in there. So blast through this second round here as well. Basically, in this draft for the Patriots, if they are looking to get a linebacker, there's just not that many great options. Akshay asks if I like Kenneth Murray over Queen from LSU, Patrick Queen. I do like him more, simply just because of the size. The Patriots really don't take that many linebackers who are under 240 pounds. They've only taken, I think it's 3 or 4 since Bill Belichick became head coach in 2000. A couple of those guys have been in recent years, Kami Grugier-Hill and Matthew Wells. Both of those guys were 220 or less, and neither one of them made it out of training camp. So I think if they were going to take a player like that who's under 240 pounds, it might be a safety type option like Jeremy Chin, who also is, a decent fit for the Patriots outside of that weight. I think they would take more of a versatile option in there. Would I go Bond over Murray? I think I probably would. Bond is a little bit undersized at, I think he's only 236 pounds, 238, something like that. So he's undersized for a linebacker, very undersized for an edge player. You can see right here on our list, the Patriots' average edge defender is 261 pounds, and Zach Bond is, where is he? Zach Bond is 238 pounds. They have taken players in the past like Derek Rivers, who was very undersized for the edge position. I like Zach Bond, though. I think that he might be the best fit for the Patriots at that 23rd spot. But Kenneth Murray is a bigger linebacker, so that's why I took him here, and because Bond just wasn't available. So here in the third round, let's start off the round. I was wondering why there were so many highly ranked players in there. We're going to need a tight end here at some point. I do like Yetur Gross-Matos Leon. We're going to need a tight end here at some point. I'd like to get a wide receiver here at some point, maybe. If Jeremy Chin is still available, I might consider taking him and almost kind of double up on those box defenders. So that did happen. So let's look at this. Our top guys here, Nick Harris at center. I think that that's a need. 2 running backs. The Patriots will probably take a running back in the first or third round just to drive all Patriots fans crazy. But I'm certainly not going to do it right here. Jeremy Chin, I like him a lot. I think that he might be a guy who actually comes off the board a little bit earlier than this. Matt Hennessy, another center. Let's look to see what's available here at wide receiver. Devin Duvernay, he's a decent fit. Van Jefferson, he's a good fit. He didn't test, so we don't know what those testing numbers are for him, but just looking at his play on the field, I think that he's a good fit for the Patriots. We might be able to get him, though, with that second, third round pick. I don't think that we would be able to get Jeremy Chin at that point. Let's see what tight ends are available. I don't love Harrison Bryant. He's a little bit more undersized at 243 pounds. Doesn't have the greatest athleticism. I do like Albert Okwuegbunam. I think I've finally learned how to pronounce that name. I'm not just going with Albert O at this point. But I think that I could actually get him slightly later as well. So I know that the Patriots need a bunch of offensive help, but I think I'm going to start off this draft with 2 box defenders with Kenneth Murray and Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin could be a Patrick Chung type player. The Patriots really need that sort of defender in their system. Patrick Chung is getting a little bit up there in years, and he's been hurt more in recent years. So the Patriots need that bigger box guy who can play in the slot, play linebacker, play strong safety, and I think that him and Kenneth Murray would both add a lot of speed to the Patriots defense. Just let's go through Jeremy Chin's measurables real quick again. 6'3". That's really tall for a safety. That's why he's being considered maybe a hybrid safety / linebacker. 221 pounds, very big for a safety, a little bit more undersized for a linebacker, but 4.45 40-yard dash, 1.55 10-yard split, 41-inch vertical, and what is that? 11-foot 6-inch broad jump. Doing some quick math in there. 20 bench press reps. Just really good athlete. Didn't do the 3-cone or the short shuttle. I wish that we had got some of the pro day numbers from some of these guys so that we could actually see those agility drills. But I like the pick there with Jeremy Chin there in the third round, like I said. All right, so now we are up in our second third-round pick. Let's just quickly see who came off the board. Devin Duvernay, I would have possibly been interested in. Jabari Zuniga, he's another one that a defensive end that I might have considered taking. Van Jefferson off the board, Malik Harrison off the board. So we're lucky that we got that linebacker in the first round, another pseudo-hybrid linebacker there in the third round, so we don't have to worry about taking Malik Harrison here. So now let's kind of look through this, see who's still available here. Might consider taking someone like Jalen Hurts in the third round. As far as wide receivers go, I like Lynn Bowden. I like James Prochet, but his testing numbers are a little bit scary. I like John Hightower a decent amount, big play threat there. But the wide receiver options are dwindling a little bit. I'm probably going to take Albert Okwuegbunam. I've already forgot how to pronounce his name. At some point in these next couple picks. Offensive tackle, Peart and Driscoll are two guys that I like. At center, might want to wait and try to get Darrell Williams a little bit later in the draft. At edge defender, I like Alton Robinson out of Syracuse. I like Alex Highsmith, I like Derek Tuska, but we did just take two defensive players, so I'm not sure if we really need to take another defensive player this early in the draft. So at this point, I think that we are going to make sure that we get the tight end that we like. That's Albert Okwuegbunam. Let's just look through his measurables again real quick. There we go. Theodore asks, what will they do with Joejuan Williams? He's a cornerback. I think that he's going to be a cornerback. I think that he can cover tight ends. He can be another big, versatile guy in the Patriots defense, but I think that they really want to try him out at cornerback before they do anything else. So let's just look real quick at Albert O right here. 6'5.5", 258 pounds, 4.49, 4.40. That's almost all that you need to know about this guy. 1.56, 10-yard split. That is blazing fast. Long arms, big hands. He's not a great blocker at this point, but with that size, 6'5.5" and 258 pounds, the Patriots can teach him up to block. And if they can't, then he can at least get in the way with that size. He's a huge tight end, had 11 touchdowns as a freshman. His production kind of tailed off a little bit as his career went on at Missouri, but he's a guy that I think would be a great fit for the Patriots if they're looking to upgrade that tight end position here in the third round. So there we go. Cornerback came off the board in between our two picks. So now we're back up again here. 36th overall pick in the third round. And I would like to take a wide receiver at this point, because if we don't take one now, then our options will dwindle off a little bit. I like KJ Hill. He didn't test quite as well as the Patriots might have wanted him to at that position. I like some of these other guys in here as well. I like James Prochet, but like I said, the measurables concern me a little bit. Lynn Bowden I like a lot. Colin Johnson's a taller guy. But let's just go through the measurables again real quick here. Let's sort them by this. So KJ Hill is way down here at the bottom. He ran a 4.640, didn't have a great 10-yard split, didn't have a great vertical leap, didn't have a great broad jump. Basically, if you add up the greens and subtract the reds, he's at a -1. It's not great. Colin Johnson is another guy who's available here. He's a little bit of a better fit, but he didn't test it all. Those big, tall wide receivers concern me. There's basically just never been a 6'6" wide receiver who's been super productive in the NFL. So this is a guy that I've been on for a long time now, and that's Lynn Bowden Jr. He played quarterback in his senior season or his junior season at Kentucky. He was a slot receiver before then. He will do anything in the world to help his team win, like I said, including playing quarterback. I think there was a story during his sophomore year at Kentucky. Kentucky was losing. He really wanted the team to win, so he just marched up to his head coach and said, I'm going to return this punt. It's nothing that he had done ever in a Kentucky practice or game. And what did he do? He returned it for a touchdown. So he's a Julian Edelman type of mentality player who, and that's just beyond the fact that he played quarterback a little bit in college. He will do anything to help the team win. He can return punts. He can play in the slot. And if the Patriots do have Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, then they might even run some snaps with Lynn Bowden playing behind center, either in an option role throwing the ball. They can use him on jet sweeps. Very versatile offensive player who could add a really different element to the Patriots offense. So we're going to take Lynn Bowden here with a 36th pick in the 3rd round. I do share the Google Docs when I do posts on Patriots fits. I've done them already on wide receivers, tight ends, and linebackers. I think defensive ends too. So I've done a few of those. Just look through my post history on Nesson.com and you can look at some of those spreadsheets. All right, so now we've got a trade offer here. We got 2 trade offers with our 19th pick. We can either get the 33rd overall pick in the 4th round, the 15th pick in the 5th round. So I would obviously be more interested in this trade from the Bucs. Let's pull up the trade value chart before we make either one of these trades. So right now we have the 19th pick in the 4th round. That's 47 points. The 33rd would be 36.5, and then what was the other one that they offered us? The 15th, so 36.5 plus 25.8. That's a good deal for us. I'm going to take it. I like having more picks, so I'm going to take this trade, and then we're going to start the round. It's still strange to me that TB means both Tom Brady and Tampa Bay. I don't know. Whenever I see TB, I assume it means Tom Brady, but it now means both, I guess. I don't know. I'm rambling here a little bit. But, all right, so we missed out, obviously, on some guys that we might have taken. James Prochet. I saw Jalen Hurts came off the board. Who else is off here? All right, so here we go. We've got the 33rd pick in the 4th round. We've got 2 5th-round picks coming up. I will probably use one of those 5th-round picks on a kicker because I think that's probably what the Patriots will do. I think the Patriots will either take a kicker in the 4th round or the 5th round. They took Stephen Gostkowski in the 4th round when they grabbed him, and they've taken multiple other special teams players in the 5th round. They took Bailey in the 5th round. They took Matthew Slater. They took Joe Cardona. I think they took Zoltan Mesko back in the day in the 5th round as well. So that's usually where they do that. All right, so David Helm is on the right path here. He's saying Darrell Williams. I think that's what I'm going to do here. I think the Patriots do need more interior offensive line help. Ted Karras off to the Miami Dolphins. The Patriots don't know what they have in Yelda for a Holt. They haven't re-signed James Ferentz yet. And David Andrews is coming off those blood clots in his lungs, which you just don't know whether he's actually going to be healthy or not at this point when the season actually begins. So I think the Patriots need some sort of insurance at that center position. And right now, they really don't have any. Let's just pull up Darrell Williams' measurables real quick, just so you guys can get a sense of what the Patriots would be getting there in Darrell Williams. Comes from Mississippi State, 6'2", 304, a little bit undersized, but the Patriots don't mind that at center. 5'2", 40-yard dash, not great, but he's got a pretty decent 3-cone drill and short shuttle. That's usually more important as far as it goes with centers. You need a little bit of agility at that position to get up to the second level. If you need to move around there a little bit, some of the Patriots do like versatile, athletic offensive linemen. So we are going to take Darrell Williams here. He wasn't here in the 4th round, I believe. The last time that we did one of these, I was trying to wait as long as possible to grab a center, and it didn't work out. This time, it did. So we've got 2 defensive players in Kenneth Murray and Jeremy Chin. We've got Albert Okwe-Boonham at tight end, and we've got Lynn Bowden at wide receiver and Darrell Williams at center. So it's filling some needs, taking a lot of the best players who are available out there, guys who I think could actually fit the Patriots system, not only from a skill set, but also from a testing numbers perspective. So now we've got 2 picks in the 5th round here coming up. Let's see who is available here. All right, so we have got, just looking through here, Nick Coe, not a great fit. I like John Hightower. I'm not sure if we need to double up on wide receivers quite yet. Cam Brown is an interesting player to me just because he's a 6'5", 230-pound linebacker. Patriots really like their length at linebacker and at defensive end. So I think that he's a guy who they might be interested in at some point. But there's not a glaring player here at the top of the board that I think the Patriots need to take. So this is where I'm going to take the kicker. I'll let you guys decide. Should I take Rodrigo Blankenship again, or should I take Tyler Bass? I'll see which one of these guys you guys prefer. I'm almost sick of taking Rodrigo Blankenship at this point because I just keep taking him. And I do think that there's a possibility that they could take a guy like Tyler Bass. So let's just see what you guys say real quick. Blankenship or Bass. We'll also see what the lag is like on this because I've tried to have a little bit less lag. All right, so I've got 3 Blankenships, 2 Bass, signed Vinatieri. That's a possibility. He's a veteran who's still available as a free agent, but he's very old at this point, so I'm not sure if that's the best idea. All right, why break tradition at this point? Let's go with Rodrigo again. Patriots will probably take some kicker that no one's ever heard of actually in the 4th or 5th round. That's usually the way that it goes with the Patriots, that they leave you scrambling to see who this new guy that they drafted was. It seems to happen every year with some guy that wasn't invited to the combine, whether it's just kind of going through the list of guys that they've drafted that weren't invited to the combine. Deron Harmon, Elandon Roberts, Jerron Bentley. I think Tavon Wilson wasn't a combine guy. Sebastian Vollmer wasn't a combine guy. So let's see what we got here left. All right, so just looking through team needs that we still have to fill. We've taken 1 offensive lineman, but we could probably use a tackle or a guard at some point. We could still use another tight end. I might address that a little bit later. We could use another wide receiver, and I do like John Hightower quite a bit. We could use a defensive lineman. We could use an edge defender. We might be able to address that a little bit later. Like I said, I like Cam Brown, but we did already take basically 2 linebackers already. So at this point, I think I'm going to take John Hightower. I believe I took him in the last draft as well, but he's a crazy good athlete, and he fits the Patriots' testing measurables pretty well at the wide receiver position. Let's see where he is here. Where's my guy? Oh, he's way up here. So he's the 4th best fit in the draft at wide receiver. 6'1.5", only 189, but he flies. He runs a 4.4 40-yard dash, 1.54 10-yard split. So he can really get off the line of scrimmage and immediately create separation. Decent 3-cone time with a 7.07. Not as good as they typically look for, but there's only, I think, like 3 guys in this entire draft who run a 3-cone as fast as they would like. Actually, only 2 guys. It's Denzel Mims, who's a first-round pick, and Dalton Schoen, who's more of an undrafted guy. So 7.07 is not bad. 4.21 is a good short shuttle. Good leaping skills, 38.5-inch vert, 10-foot broad jump. So that's going to be my guy. He's, like I said, he's a little bit of a burner. He's a deep threat. And now that the Patriots have a quarterback with maybe a slightly bigger arm in Jarrett Stidham rather than Tom Brady, I think that it's possible that they could use a deep threat like John Hightower, maybe a little bit more than they could before. Carson, don't worry. I'll be on my guy Dalton Keene soon. I think I will. I'll take a quarterback at some point, but personally, I like Jarrett Stidham enough where I'm not going to take a quarterback who's necessarily going to compete with him in year 1. Maybe a guy who's a little bit more of a backup option down the road. You guys will see which quarterback I'm kind of leaning towards there. So now we've got the 16th pick here, our pick's up, and we got a little bit lucky here because Derek Tuska is still available. I really like, I actually don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Tuska or something. We will sort this by what I consider to be the best testing fits. And Tuska's right here at 11th. 6'4.5", 251 pounds. Not the greatest 20-yard split or 10-yard split, but he runs that 6.87 3-cone, and the Patriots really value that at the defensive end position. You can see that their average drafted defensive end has a 7.15 3-cone, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys fit that in this draft. So it doesn't have the longest arms, which is slightly concerning, but he's kind of a poor man's Chase Winovich, blonde, long hair, FCS guy, but super productive, and kind of fits their mold in general. I'll definitely take a defensive lineman at some point. The Patriots did sign Bo Allen, and don't forget that they've got Byron Cowart as well. He's not a nose tackle, but he's a defensive lineman who didn't get to play that much last season who I think could potentially take a pretty decent second-year jump here. So going through the needs again, offensive tackle, I kind of like Terrence Steele, who I can get a little bit later. Defensive line, Benito Jones, he's that nose tackle that we're talking about. And then filled edge, filled linebacker, got a safety, got a center, got a couple of wide receivers, haven't got a running back yet, and haven't got a quarterback yet. So right here off the bat, let's take Benito Jones. Let's fill that defensive line need. He's 6'1", I think he's about 315 pounds, not the greatest athlete, but the Patriots don't really need that out of their defensive linemen. Just need kind of a shorter, stout guy who can fill in those gaps in the middle of a defense. All right, so now we're going to take my guy, Dalton Keene. He's ranked way too low on CBS right now. I don't know when he'll actually come off the board. I think that it will probably be in the 5th or 6th round. So we're taking him here in the 6th round. I'm just going to show you guys again what his measurables are. I've been raving about this guy for a few days now throughout the weekend. He's my top rated tight end as far as Patriots draft fits go. So he's 6'4", 253 pounds. That's fine size for a tight end. 4.71 40-yard dash, 7.07 3-cone, 4.19 short shuttle, 34-inch vert, 10'5" broad jump, which is really good for a tight end. Doesn't have the longest arms, but quite frankly, he's not that far off from the Patriots' average drafted tight end. His hand size just fits in there. I rounded up on that from 9'8" to 9'7" because 9'7" rounded up is 9'8". So he's a guy that a lot of people weren't talking about. I've been probably talking about him too much at this point, but beyond that initial wave of tight ends, which basically finishes off with who we took in Albert Okwuegbunam, I think that Dalton Keene is the best out of the remainder of those tight ends. So I think that someone's going to get a really nice steal in him at some point in the draft. I've compared him to 49ers tight end George Kittle, just because he's another kind of later round tight end who might be slightly on the undersized portion, but he's a pretty decent blocker as well, just like George Kittle. So now we've got our last pick in the 6th round here, 34th pick in the 6th round. And we can basically take whoever we want at this point. There's no glaring need that we need to fill. We'll probably take a tackle at some point. We could probably take a quarterback at some point. Beyond that, we filled a lot of these other needs. We filled defensive line, we filled edge, we filled linebacker, we filled safety. We haven't got a cornerback yet, but the Patriots are loaded at cornerback. We got our kicker. So I'm going to take a tackle here. And it's not a real tackle. It's actually a guard in Jon Runyan. He played left tackle at Michigan, but he's projected to slide into guard at the NFL level, similar to Joe Thuney. Probably not quite as athletic as Joe Thuney. I don't want to compare him to Joe Thuney because Joe Thuney is one of the best guards in the NFL right now. But he's a similar type of player who played tackle in college, but will play guard in the NFL. And the Patriots typically like those kind of guys. They did a similar transition with Logan Mankins, who they actually took in the 1st round, and that is Jon Runyan's son. All right, so here we go. It's quarterback time, and we are going to take Nate Stanley out of Iowa. And why are we going to take Nate Stanley out of Iowa? First of all, because he went to Iowa, and the Patriots love players out of Iowa. They usually don't take the highest ranked players out of Iowa. They usually wait for these guys late in the draft or once undrafted free agency begins, but they know that those guys will fit in their system because they played under Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. They run a pretty similar offense to what the Patriots do, and Nate Stanley is a very good decision maker, barely threw any interceptions during his time at Iowa. He's got a gigantic arm. He struggles with his accuracy. And the Patriots have been willing to play with some of these guys in the past. Jacoby Brissett didn't have the greatest accuracy at NC State. Ryan Mallett certainly didn't have the greatest accuracy at Arkansas. And those were players who were taken in the 3rd round. Nate Stanley at this point for us is a 7th round pick. I don't know how big his upside is, but he's a big, strong quarterback with a big arm. And if you're getting someone like that in the 7th round, that's about the best that you can do at this point. I don't mind Cole McDonald. He's more of an athletic guy. I know a lot of people like Steven Montez. Beyond that, I don't really love these guys at the end of the draft. So Nate Stanley is my guy at quarterback here. I see Andre saying Geno Stone. He was available with one of the picks that we had here. I like Geno Stone. Not the greatest athlete. I think he ran like a 4.6, but he plays faster than that. So he's a player that I think the Patriots would certainly be interested in, and it goes back to that Iowa fit that we were talking about earlier. All right, so now this is our last pick in the draft. I'll let you guys decide. What position do you want me to take here? As I said, we've already taken a linebacker. We took a safety who's kind of a linebacker hybrid. Took a tight end. Actually, we took 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, a center, a kicker, a defensive end, a defensive lineman, and a guard/offensive tackle. So I'll let you guys say in the comments, what position do you want me to take here with the final pick? I'll just wait. I'll kind of go through some of these names here. We don't need a quarterback. At running back, Salvon Ahmed could be a decent fit. I don't know a ton of these other guys at the bottom of the draft at running back. Offensive tackle, Terrence Steele, someone that I think is pretty decent. Defensive line, this guy's got the best name in the draft. That's John Pennicini. Get your minds out of the gutters. Defensive end, linebacker, Carter Coughlin I like. Cornerback, we haven't taken a cornerback yet, but I don't know a lot of these guys, to be quite honest. Alohi Gilman's another decent fit. We could take another kicker here. Random running back. All right, I'll go with a random running back. I know that the Patriots actually showed some interest in Scotty Phillips at the combine or around the combine. So at least there's some sort of connection there. The Patriots have taken running backs out of Ole Miss in the past with Brandon Bolden and what's his name? The law firm, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. So let's take another Ole Miss running back here to finish it off. All right, so that does it. Let's now go, we'll let the draft finish here, and then we'll kind of go through all of our picks, see who fit all of the needs that FanSpeak has told us that we have in here. All right, so here we go. As far as the team draft assessment goes, filled out wide receiver need with Lynn Bowden Jr., tight end with Albert Okwuegbunam, offensive tackle with John Runyon. That's basically a guard, so we didn't really wind up taking a tackle in this draft. Maybe John Runyon can play there in a pinch, but not the greatest fit in the NFL. Quarterback got Nate Stanley out of Iowa. Edge, Derek Tuszka out of FCS North Dakota State. Linebacker, Kenneth Murray. I don't agree with these draft needs. I think the Patriots' top need is at tight end. Their second biggest need is at linebacker. Beyond that, I would say edge defender, wide receiver, center. So we drafted a little bit more towards what the Patriots' needs are here with Kenneth Murray at the top. We grabbed Albert Okwuegbunam with the 98th overall pick. Jeremy Chin, another guy who could potentially play linebacker. And the Patriots need help at linebacker because they lost Kyle Van Noy, Elandon Roberts, and Jamie Collins in free agency. They only filled that need with Brandon Copeland. And beyond that, they only have Terez Hall, Dante Hightower, and Juwan Bentley. So they need to fill out that linebacker position quite a bit. And I think that Kenneth Murray could wind up being a day one starter for the Patriots with that first overall pick for us with the Patriots. Got the kicker in Rodrigo Blankenship, got the center in Darrell Williams. He's insurance in case David Andrews isn't healthy. Grabbed John Hightower, who's a burner, deep threat. And then grabbed my guy Dalton Keene there at the end of the draft at tight end. I think it's a pretty good draft. What do you guys think of what we wound up here with? We only made one trade. Got out of the 4th round to get a later 4th round pick and a 5th round pick. But I'm personally feeling pretty good about this. I'll share this on Twitter for anyone who wasn't able to join this mock draft. Troy Dye, if he's there in the 3rd. Let me just look up his measurables again. I think that he's a decent athletic option, but he's only 231 pounds, which, as I've said a few times now, I'll actually go to the Patriots draft history to show you guys what I'm talking about here at linebacker, just while we're on the subject of a guy like Troy Dye, who is probably going to be a very good player, but I just think the Patriots might be a little bit hesitant to take a linebacker who's that small. Sorry, this is loading kind of slow. So this is every linebacker that the Patriots have taken since Bill Belichick started running the team in 2000. And as you can see, the only linebackers who are under 240 pounds that they've drafted, Oscar Lua, Matthew Wells, Kamu Grugier-Hill, and Elandon Roberts. That's 4 players out of 17? I mean, it's possible that they could take another linebacker who's under 240 pounds, but quite frankly, it hasn't gone that well for them. Oscar Lua basically did nothing. And then, as I said earlier, Matthew Wells, they traded him during training camp for, I think it was Ryan Groy. They cut Kamugurje Hill out of training camp. Elandon Roberts made the team, and he was a good player, but they need linebackers who can run forward and be thumpers. And Elandon Roberts is that rare guy who does weigh under 240 pounds who could actually do that. And you saw some of his limitations as it was with what he was as more of an undersized linebacker, wasn't great in coverage. He could certainly fill his role pretty well, but they've had much better luck with those bigger linebackers, the guys like Gerard Mayo, for instance, Brandon Spikes, Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins, Jawan Bentley. They've had a pretty good track record with so far. Let's go through some of these other questions. What would be the most likely way for the Patriots to get a second-round pick? By trading down. They'd have to get out of that 23rd pick unless they wanted to give up a future pick. So I actually wrote a post. You guys can go to that. There was 7 trades that the Patriots could make to get into the second round to take a tight end. So there's a decent amount of teams out there who the Patriots could trade with who either have 2 second-round picks, a late first and a late second, or an early second and an early third. So there are a decent amount of ways, and I definitely would not be shocked if the Patriots did trade into the second round. How would I compare it to the mock draft I did last week? I don't know. I don't totally remember how that one went. I'm pretty happy with this one. It's a little bit different than what I usually do because usually I do trade out of that first round, but I wanted to see what kind of players the Patriots could get if they did stick in the first round, and if they had to sort of wait on a tight end a little bit longer, because I do think guys like Cole Kmet and Adam Troutman, Harrison Bryant or Hunter Bryant, Bryson, who's the Purdue guy, Bryson Hopkins, is that what his name is? I've barely, quite honestly, paid attention to him. Yeah, Bryson Hopkins, just because he's so undersized. A lot of those guys will be gone by the time the Patriots are picking in the third round, so they might just sort of have to see who's left at that point. If the Patriots can't get Troutman or Kmet, do I prefer Hopkins or Okewabunam? Probably Okewabunam just because he's the bigger tight end. If you're going to be small, you got to be pretty athletic. That is very true, especially when you look at what linebackers the Patriots have taken there. Kamu was extremely athletic. Matthew Wells was extremely athletic. Oscar Lua wasn't, but once again, who has even heard of Oscar Lua at this point? I don't think that he even played for the Patriots. That 2007 draft for the Patriots was fairly horrendous outside of Brandon Merriweather. And then the other guy that was undersized was Elandon Roberts, who wasn't the greatest athlete, but like I said, he's that undersized guy who's so compactly built that he could still be a thumper at only 234 pounds. 2 linebackers in the first 3 rounds, safety in the 4th, O-line, kicker. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots definitely need linebackers. I think they definitely need to get younger at safety, which is why I was willing to take Jeremy Chin as early as I was, because they did get rid of Daron Harmon. Patrick Chung and Devin McCourty are getting up there in age. They signed Adrian Phillips and Cody Davis, but they haven't drafted a safety since 2015, which is fairly unbelievable for the Patriots since they usually take safeties all the time. I can look to see all the safeties that they have drafted. They've had decent track record here with Eugene Wilson. James Sanders was a decent player for a while. Brandon Merriweather was an okay player, not great for a first-round pick, but stuck around for a while. Patrick Chung, Tavon Wilson, Nate Ebner, Daron Harmon, and Jordan Richards. So they haven't taken that guy since 2015. So I think it's definitely time to add some youth at that safety position. They'll probably go off the board, or they're sort of overdraft someone. But I could definitely see them taking a safety in this draft. All right, I think we're going to wrap this up now. Keep it on Nesson.com for all of your Patriots coverage. Follow me on Twitter at Doug Kyed, and subscribe to the YouTube channel because I'd like to do more of this stuff. I'm at home anyway. I've got this whole video setup thing that I can do. I can stream. So this has been a lot of fun for me this week and last week. We'll see how often I actually do this, but I've got time to kill, so I might as well do it. Let me know what you guys think about this, either in the comments section or on Twitter to let me know if you want me to keep doing this, to see if you guys have other ideas for things that I could stream on YouTube, because I'd like to keep everyone entertained while they have to stay home. And I think that this is at least one of those ways that we can do it. So thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, follow me on Twitter.